Every November, Britain falls silent. 2 minutes that echo through history, honouring the men and women who gave everything. But behind those poppies are real people and real stories of courage, sacrifice and impossible choices. And today, from the last letter of the 19-year-old in the trenches to a nurse who saved hundreds under fire, we're covering the human stories behind Remembrance Sunday. A 19-year-old soldier's final words, delivered 100 years after he died. Private William Hodgson wrote home from the Somme in 1916, describing mud, fear and brotherhood. He didn't make it to the next dawn. His letter, found in an old family Bible, ends with, "If I should fall, think only this of me, that there's some corner of a foreign field that is forever England." It became one of the most famous war poems, The Soldier by Rupert Brooke, written for boys like Hodgson. Every year that letter is allowed in remembrance ceremonies across the UK, a voice from the mud that still speaks today. Just think about it, would you have written home if you knew this was your last letter? One man refused to leave the bench and saved hundreds. At Dunkirk in 1940, over 300,000 troops were rescued, but few remember Charles Charlie Coward, a sergeant from London. When ordered to evacuate, Coward stayed behind, organising boats and carrying wounded men to safety under constant bombardment. Later captured, he escaped multiple times, eventually helping over 400 Jewish prisoners flee Auschwitz. Coward was later called the Count of Auschwitz. His bravery crossed enemy lines and moral ones too. Stories like this make you wonder, what would you have done in that circumstance? This lady was told computers were for men. She proved them wrong and helped them win the war. Joan Clark, a brilliant mathematician at Bletchley Park, worked alongside Alan Turing in secret. Despite discrimination, Clark co-developed the algorithms that cracked the Enigma code, saving countless Allied lives. Her work remains classified for decades, unrecognised until long after her death. She became a symbol of women's unseen role in the war, intellect as powerful as any weapon. Should schools be teaching more about people like Joan Clark? A single nurse treated 200 wounded soldiers in one night. Edith Cavell, a British nurse in World War I Belgium, helped soldiers from both sides without discrimination. She also smuggled over 200 Allied troops to safety. When caught, she was executed by a German firing squad in 1915. Her last word, "Patriotism is not enough. I would have no hatred or bitterness towards anyone." Pretty powerful. Her death shocked the world and inspired thousands more to volunteer as nurses and medics. Would you risk your life to save someone that the world called an enemy? Let me know in the comments. This boy wasn't old enough to shave, but he helped save the Atlantic. James Magnus, a 19-year-old Irish sailor, volunteered for a near-suicidal mission in 1945, attaching explosives to a Japanese warship. He dived under the ship for about half an hour, battling tangled wires and oxygen failure. The mission succeeded, crippling the vessel, and Magnus won the Victoria Cross. He later said, "I just did my job." But this story became legend, proof that courage doesn't need age, just conviction. What do you think about being only 19 in 1945 and taking on this insane mission? Let me know in the comments. Whose name would you be standing silent for? Let me know in the comments. Remembrance Sunday isn't about history, it's about humanity. The ordinary people who chose duty over comfort, courage over fear, and compassion over hate.